GM, everyone. We'll get started here in a few minutes. We're just gonna wait for people to roll in here and get our speakers up. So.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing, Brian?
Doing good. Can you hear me okay? Do I sound clear?
You sound very clear. And we got to put Vesnuki up here as well?
Yeah, that'd be great. He's the co-community manager. We work together.
Very cool. You're co-host as well, but here, let me see if I can learn how to work this thing. There we go. All right. Awesome. Vesnushki, I invited you to speak. I'm not sure if you got it. Maybe you can resend it.
Hey, can you hear me?
There we go.
Great.
Awesome. Yeah. Lily, I think we're recording. Are we all good?
Yeah, we're all good. We can go ahead and get started and hop right into this.
Okay. Awesome. So, welcome everybody. We're here just highlighting Gains Trade. They're one of our partners who are helping us out with dual incentives in their silo. We've seen recently a lot of activity. I think the Gains silo is actually the GNS deposit rate is something like 35%. So it's doing really well. It's one of the markets that has grown very organically. So their community clearly has a lot of reach and whatnot. And we just called them on here to basically highlight their protocol, what they're doing, and then also maybe we'll speak about some of the stuff that we're doing for the GNS silo on our side. But yeah, if you guys want to introduce yourselves, go for it.
Hi, I'm Brian, and we have Vesnushki here, who's my fellow community manager, and we're part of the Gains Network. So if you don't know what Gains Network is, or G-Trade, we are a decentralized perp exchange, which is currently available to anyone on Polygon and Arbitrum. So we're trying to provide an open, fair, decentralized leverage trading experience for all users. We operate with a decentralized front end, custom Chainlink Oracle network, a highly capital efficient DAI vault, and a decentralized bot network which processes orders. So decentralization is part of our ethos here. So our system's robust, versatile, and we can host any number of assets for which a price feed can be found. So the way G-Trade works to get its prices presented to the user is that we take a median of several exchanges, which we will not mention which ones, but in order to manipulate a price on G-Trade or cause a scam wick, users or some manipulator would have to manipulate multiple exchanges to do that. So we have good protections for our users through that system. So as a result of our high liquidity efficiency, our DAI vault infrastructure, and so forth, we can offer a variety of assets, currently crypto, Forex, and commodities. We go from 2 to 150x leverage on crypto and up to 1000x on Forex. So crypto and Forex are definitely our most popular products, and we intend to add more pairs and more commodities as well. So that's G-Trade in a nutshell. I'm really excited to learn more about Silo Finance and share it with our community as well, because I know people are always asking, where can we take our DAI, where can we take our GNS, and how can I loop this and leverage up? Because we seem to be hopefully at a local low for the market, and it wouldn't be a bad point for users wanting to leverage up or borrow to jump in. They might get more healthy as the market recovers, hopefully, from this local low.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just wanted to kind of, because you mentioned it very briefly there, but GNS has this GDAI vault, which we think is amazing collateral actually, and it could be a really, really popular thing on our network. So we are looking into ways to how we can support it. Maybe you can kind of just explain, bare bones of how GDAI works.
Oh, sure. So GDAI is our new DAI vault infrastructure. It is very simply a place for you depositing your DAI, which acts as a reserve pool to the traders' trades. So you'll in turn get a GDAI token and an NFT that represents your position. So the GDAI token is something that you can do whatever you want with. You could send the GDAI token to other wallets. You can send it to any other protocols that accept it. You can trade it for another token on Uniswap. So it is a fungible token, and it is also a value accruing token. So as long as you have your GDAI, when you go to cash it back out and get your DAI back, because of the way the vault works and how it takes a fee from all trades, you will get more money, more DAI back for the GDAI that you turn back in. So that's the GDAI vault in a nutshell. It's an interest-bearing DAI vault with its own unique token, GDAI.
Amazing. Yeah, no, and I believe it has very good base yield. I think it's something around 7.5%.
Correct.
Yeah. So I think once we're figuring out those kind of price feeds over on Silo, we can send that thing sky high, because the 7.5 with a reasonable borrow rate and leverage that can really turn into 30 to 40% APY. Given enough loops. So we're excited to kind of explore GDAI. But right now what we have live is GNS. And what I just wanted to kind of highlight, which is something that's kind of cool that you can do with Silo and Gains, right, is if you are a GNS holder and you want to participate in GDAI, but you don't want to necessarily sell your GNS, so the Silo isolated market, that's what it's there for, right? So you can deposit your GNS, borrow USDC, and then subsequently swap it and stake it for GDAI. So yeah, I think there's a lot of avenues kind of that users can take with the new market.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then on our side also, we've been kind of starting, and you might not have seen this, but on our markets, we've started to kind of do more work on the long tail side of the market. Right now, also, we are speaking with Nitro Cartel, and they built a little strategy that will essentially use Silo with their GNS. So we're really excited for that, and we think we can keep growing the market. And we're even speaking to some protocols that can possibly borrow out the GNS and LP it.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, there's a lot of use cases on these products. I like what I see on Silo. It looks very, very easy to understand. And you have some additional metrics here that let us really dig into the health of the vault.
Mm-hmm.
So that's sweet. So at 25, let me go back to my page here. It was 35.46 deposit APR for someone who is depositing GNS. And if I'm correct, I can then borrow USDC or I can borrow ETH. Is that correct, or ETH?
Yes, that's correct. We have like 100K of USDC and 100K of ETH available, somewhere around there. Yeah, the APR is actually really high right now because the borrowing triggered what's called our optimal value. So the APY has been slowly increasing over time, and it'll keep increasing essentially until more deposits come in, or someone pays back their loan. But it's been looking very good for the last week or so.
Yeah, that looks very interesting. And one thing I can say, I will ask. So if I deposit and borrow against my GDAI, since it accrues value in the DAI token, which I'm sure is part of that APR, that deposit APR, since it's accruing value, does that also lower my liquidation threshold?
Yes. So the interest adjusts around. Same thing with the negative interest. So like the interest that you pay, that affects your health rate ratio, and then the APY that you earn also affects it positively.
Okay, awesome. So if we up our volume, because GNS depends on the trader's volume. So if we triple our volume or do triple our APY, then our loan just gets more healthy and is being paid back as it sits, in effect.
Yes, exactly.
Very interesting. So that's something I'd like to share with our community too, because again, we're always looking for safe ways to maximize yield, or at least safer. Everything has risk, but being the fact that y'all let us deposit, and then the DAI dividend helps keep the loan healthy, is something that's very attractive.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think I 100% agree with you. That whole kind of leverage strategies where you just outpace the borrowing rate in stable to stable markets essentially are super profitable and very, very safe for usual typical stablecoin farmers. But yeah, no, very exciting stuff over at GDAI and GNS. I mean, I guess I wanted to talk about if you guys, what are you guys coming out with next? Do you guys have anything exciting in the pipeline? Alpha, you want to leak?
There's some stuff that's been leaked on the AMAs we've had, so not everybody's aware of it because not everybody listens to the AMAs when they happen, but of course they're available as recordings. What was recently mentioned is that the GETH vault is something that is on the team's radar, and that pertains right to Silo, because then at that point, once we launch our GETH vault, you deposit your GNS, take the APR, withdraw Ethereum, and then put it into the GETH vault when that materializes, and then you're compounded on compounded, and you're being backed up by the trader's losses too. So that looks like something that could be very workable, very attractive. Once we launch that GETH vault, we can showcase that, hey, look, we can loop this right through Silo Finance. So I'm sure our users will be asking where they can do that once GETH launches, and we'll have an answer for them.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds amazing, incredible.
You guys want to talk a little bit about your trading contests that you guys have been doing lately?
Oh yeah, sure. So currently, if anyone doesn't know, we are running a trading contest that is going to the 30th of this month. We have $100,000 worth of prizes in both Arbitrum and Polygon. So to place, you just have to make it into the top 30 on Arbitrum or on Polygon. Polygon is the percent profit, and Arbitrum is the true profit, the true amount of DAI that you've won. So there's something that you can play with. If you got a smaller bag and smaller finances to bet with, you can trade on Polygon and get your place on the position with a few good trades. Or if you're a big whale, you can trade on Arbitrum and climb the ladder, because Arbitrum is very competitive with those whales putting in monster positions sometimes. So there's something for everybody. In addition, we will airdrop some random prizes to whoever trades on GTrade for this competition window. So anybody who's new to the DApp, they can jump right in and have eligibility for a airdrop just for trading. And then finally, we have the biggest loser prize. So the one person who has to cope the hardest will be able to get a consolation fee or prize.
I got to message Chudoro right away then.
You got somebody that we can use? I mean, we appreciate any deposits to the vault, because that's where the losses go. They go to the DAI vault. So if they want to lose 14 million on the platform, I will gladly mint them an NFT too. I'll give them something else with the top loser.
Nice. Yeah. And by the way, I've always kind of wondered this because GNS is very special. Like you guys really, the bulk of your volume and business is mostly in Forex, right? I mean, that's where, and you guys are routing insane amounts of volume too. Billions
It
of
ebbs
volume.
and flows. A few months ago, it was Forex. Now it's back to crypto, if I recall. I'd have to check our Dune page. But yeah, it ebbs and flows back and forth. So yes, Forex was something we became known for, and we've continued to optimize the Forex trading experience. For example, something I think that other protocols may have trouble with is operating during periods of low liquidity. There's a certain point, I think Wisniewski knows the time frame where the liquidity on the global markets is a little bit lower in this point of the day. Do you remember that, Ves, what part of the day that is?
It's when New York and London is it's closed, right?
Yeah, there's a low liquidity session, as we call it, because yeah, it's after New York Stock Exchange closes, and then it's for 2 hours, because during that time, yeah, we don't essentially we don't have enough major exchanges to like provide a reliable price feed. So yeah, there are some limitations during that period, but you can easily see it. Like if you go to the platform, you can see that there are like it starts to like wick. All the candles start to wick like crazy because yeah, there is so much like fluctuation in the price. Yeah, so that's basically yeah, that's what we call low liquidity session, which lasts for 2 hours.
That makes
after
sense. I used to
New
trade
York.
a little bit, so I used to actually trade a lot
Okay.
of Forex.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't stop trading at that point because there's always worry about market manipulation. So we don't stop trading. We just dynamically at that point of the day the leverage amount goes down. So you can't trade a 1000x. You can only trade a 150x. So it's smooth. It doesn't interrupt the trading experience, but it does also limit the risk to the vault, the DAI vault stakers.
Gotcha. Yeah, makes sense. And I'm guessing you guys kind of weigh counterparty risk. So do you guys like match buyers and sellers together to try to kind of hedge out any sort of exposure from the protocol? Just how do you guys handle counterparty risk? This is something that's generally interesting to us because we do isolated marketing or isolated markets. So we handle a lot of kind of talking about counterparty risk and how do you choose LTVs and oracles and whatnot.
Well, that's actually something we don't have. We don't match buyers and sellers because we're completely synthetic. It all pulls from the DAI vault. So we have a number of breaks, I guess you could say. The devs, of course, are always watching liquidity, and they can monitor how the exchanges are handling things, and they can lower the open interest at will or at necessity. We also have a borrowing fee that raises dynamically as one side gets heavier. So if everybody's heavy on Bitcoin and nobody's shorting, everybody's longing, but that side gets too heavy, the fee goes up. And I don't recall if it's linear or algorithmic, but as that side gets heavier and heavier, they pay more and more borrowing fees, which go directly to our DAI vault. So it just counts as negative P&L in addition to the actual negative P&L for trader losses. So with those mechanisms in place and with our global OI limits and our category limits, so Forex and obviously crypto are in their own separate OI windows there. So we have a lot of risk management in with those mechanisms in place. And so far it works very good. Our Arbitrum vault is over 110% collateralized. Our Polygon vault seems to struggle a little bit, and we think that's because the Polygon chain is a little slower. And sometimes an order that should have been captured that wicks down into a liquidation point doesn't capture because Polygon is congested. Sunflower Farms is going crazy, or somebody's minting some NFT on Polygon and brings the network to its knees. So those kind of things can impact Polygon, and we think we're going to have that problem fixed very soon with lookbacks, which will then look back to the price as it was when you placed your order, when you placed your stop loss, your take profit. And we will honor that price and honor that bet that you put on the asset And that will be what we go off instead of having to wait for the bots to write your order on chain. So once that happens, we will capture the liquidations. We will capture the take profits. Everything will happen as it should on as a SEX-like experience. Centralized exchanges, it'll function a lot more like a SEX, but will be completely decentralized. So best of both worlds at that point. And that update is coming fairly soon.
Nice. That's very cool. And by the way, just out of curiosity, do you guys see this working on Ethereum? Do you guys think that it's kind of impossible to run a protocol of this type on Ethereum, or what are kind of your opinions there?
Yeah, we actually the like the first version of G-Trade was on Ethereum, but yeah, it was like very expensive to just like place an order. It was low, so we moved to Polygon, and we have some like Brian mentioned, there are some problems with Polygon as well. So we deployed on Arbitrum, and it's yeah, I think we talked about this in the like recent Discord AMA, that it's since it's a lot of people are scalping like on very low time frames, so like every second could like every second counts. So for that reason, I think it's pretty much like I think it's pretty much needed to have like some sort of roll up solution, because it's so time sensitive, especially if you're scalping, and I mean we have 150 leverage, which is, I mean, it's insanely high if you compare it to other places, especially like centralized exchanges. So obviously we're targeting like maybe a degen subset of leverage traders with very high leverage. So
they can get smoked quick if they're not careful. And using proper
Nice.
Yeah, so for that reason, it's important to have like an underlying chain that is reliable and fast.
Nice, very
I think
cool.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, like, I think we pushed Polygon to its limits, like with a lot of like internal solutions, like using like in-house RPCs and a lot of other like under the hood improvements. But yeah,
we've also been the number one gas guzzler on Polygon before.
yeah.
So I think Ethereum
true.
people would hate us because we would become the number one gas, but we become CryptoKitties 2.0 decentralized exchange version.
No, I remember when you guys were almost breaking the chain on Polygon. I read up something about it a while ago. You guys were really bursting through it you guys a ridiculous amount of transactions. But it's interesting. We've seen kind of a similar thing because we're on Ethereum and we're on Arbitrum. So we do have kind of our core business on Ethereum, which is more or less, you'll see it's very exclusively kind of whales. And it'll be like, LSD, conservative markets, or, it'll be founders of projects or whatnot. But when we moved over to Arbitrum, also on Ethereum, we had to really help to kind of find not just the borrower, but also the lender, right? So we kind of had to match people and talk to them individually. And, they have a lot of questions. But then as soon as we launched on Arbitrum, we just saw like an insane inflow of transactions, and we go through them and see like what are users doing, and it's like they're all executing different like very high level strategies. So I think the Arbitrum user is just, I think that for some reason all the Arbitrum users are where the traders are.
Yeah, we offloaded a lot of our volume from Polygon. I think a lot of them migrated naturally to Arbitrum because of the speed of transaction. There's still plenty of Polygon traders, and we want to remain open, but I think it took some of the heat off the chain as well. So we stopped processing a bajillion orders a day on Polygon and clogging up the chain. So it's good that we've offloaded some users to Arbitrum.
Yeah. Wow. Well, yeah, guys, that's incredible. I think if we have any questions, we can kind of take the questions, and then you guys can kind of give us some closing thoughts and just call to action. What do you want to be seen? And we'll also be sharing this on YouTube and kind of making some highlights around it. So
Perfect.
does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, maybe Asha, you could dive in a little bit to talk a little bit about our season 2 incentives and how that's working right now, and how people can get involved in that. I dropped a thread in the Spaces tweet thread that has strategies for people that want to get involved, and I also dropped the trading competition for you guys as well. So if anyone's interested in that, check that out. But yeah, maybe you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, we do have incentives for essentially depositing GNS, and we have incentives for depositing USDC in the GNS market because of all our markets are isolated. And I mean, the incentives are actually not very big at all right now compared to the actual real yield that it's generating. So that's a big thing to keep in mind right now in our pool. Yes, you do get some silo, but the majority of your rewards are actually earned in GNS. So if you want more GNS with your GNS, this is a great place to deposit it. And then you can also always take out a loan. There's plenty of USDC and ETH available for users to take and farm with or trade with. They can bring it anywhere else without reducing their exposure to GNS and earning a very worthwhile rate. GNS, I think, is our highest rate right now out of all of our pools by far. So, yeah.
Sweet. So Silo tokens are an incentive for staking with your protocol.
Yes.
You earn 0.9 deposit rewards APR in Silo. And is Silo a stakeable token itself?
Silo, we have an 80-20 pool on Balancer. We have a 50-50 pool on Camelot as well. I would say the 80-20 pool is the closest thing to single-sided staking, but we're essentially heads down as well, working on our V2. And as well with that, we have a new tokenomic model, which it'll be a VE model adjusted.
Very cool.
But yeah, I'm excited to share more about that, but I can't talk about it. But I will. I certainly want to talk to you guys about it at a later point. But anyway, yeah, I don't think we have any questions. I don't see any questions here in our questions chat. So without further ado, I think we can send you guys off. You've been great. Really appreciate it. If you want to give us a last message where we can find you and whatnot, that'd be great.
Absolutely. You'll find us at gains.trade, Arbitrum, Polygon, and leverage trading. Fun times. Just watch yourself. Please don't trade away your mortgage payment and or your monthly rent and then complain about it on Discord. We can't help you. So make sure you do proper risk management, please. But yeah, it was a pleasure, guys. Thank you. I'll definitely be sharing Silo with our community and kind of pointing them your way for any kind of loans they may need to take out against their GNS position. Very attractive setup you guys got.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, great to have you guys. Thanks so much.
Appreciate it.
Have a
Thank
nice
you.
weekend.
Yeah, everybody. Nice day. Thanks.
You too. Thanks for joining the community call, guys. There'll be a recording up on YouTube soon, and you can always check out the recording if you missed part of the call right on Twitter. So have a great day, guys.